3 loud knocks on my office door made me lose my focus and look up. Linda was fuming. She was so mad her face was red and you could almost see steam coming out of her ears. Why is my raise still not here? Good morning to you too, Linda. Please take a seat. Shut up! You promised me a raise 6 months ago. Where is it? I calmly sipped on my coffee and saved the email I was about to send to the big boss. I sensed this was going to be one of those conversations. Linda, remember when we had your performance review 3 months ago? Yeah, so what? Well, if you were paying attention then, you would know that the company isn't satisfied at all with your performance lately. For the past year, in fact. And there have been several complaints about you, several instances that you were caught lying about your work, your output, even your hours. Lies! I have not lied one bit about anything. Linda, remember when you faked your own death? You told everyone you had cancer and then you pretended to die and it turned out you just went on a month-long vacation? Honestly, even I'm surprised you still have your job. The company's been very kind and understanding. I needed a mental health break. Clearly, it would appear your mental health is still broken. I don't care what you say. I want my raise. You're not the boss of me. I actually laughed. You're literally my secretary, Linda. If you don't give me my raise, I'm going to report you for harassment. I'm going to tell everyone you flirt with me and tried to kiss me and that I'm uncomfortable around you. Go ahead. I had bigger fish to fry. I had a product launch I had to work on, and honestly, I doubt anyone in that place would ever believe a word she said, especially since that whole building was peppered with CCTV cameras. Turns out, I should have been more careful around loony Linda. Hi, everyone. My name's Ethan. Do you have a unique title idea? Comment it down below and like the ones you think are interesting. You never know, your story may be the next one we post. Alright, now back to the story. That day, Linda slashed my tires. I ignored it, thinking nothing would come of trying to reason with an unreasonable person. But a week went by and Linda still hadn't showed up for work. One morning, as I sat down in front of my computer, I saw an email that gave me the shock of my life. The product launch, the biggest project I've had all year, was poached from me. The client didn't even tell me they were cutting ties with us. Our rival company down the street simply launched my product without us even knowing it was happening. I was called into a board meeting before I could even get a sip of my morning coffee.
Ethan, it wasn't you, was it? How much are they paying you?
Boss, what? What? No, you can't seriously accuse me of being a corporate spy.
You were the only one who knew the details of that deal. Who else could it be? Clear your office. I want you gone within the hour.
I tried to reason with the board, but none of them would hear me. Defeated, I went back to my office and started packing my stuff. And just before I left, my replacement came through the door. Linda? Linda simply laughed. She relished the sight of my leaving. She sat on my chair and threw the stuff that I was working on. Oops, you dropped something. I should have known. The chairman was right. Nobody else knew about the product launch, besides me and her. She must have stolen my stuff and sold it to our rivals. And now she gets my job too? I was not going to back down. I wasn't going to go down without a fight. I went home, but I didn't give up. The next morning, I combed my emails. It didn't even take 10 minutes. There it was, the smoking gun. Someone had sent sensitive files from my laptop to an untraceable email address. I knew it could have only been her, but I had no way to prove it. That was when I got a brilliant idea. I wrote up a fake LinkedIn profile. Linda had just been promoted, so somebody needed to fill her old job. And that was going to be my ticket. I applied to the job vacancy and scheduled an interview the very next day. I called up my ex, borrowed a dress, and let her do my makeup. I was going to be the hottest secretary anyone there had ever seen, and they won't even see any of it coming. I walked in there with the wind in my hair, and every single guy stood up from their cubicle. Even Linda came out of her office to stare. I almost laughed when I saw that the pencil she was holding broke from how tight she was gripping it. Oh boy, was she pissed that someone in that office was prettier than her. I tried to keep a straight face during the interview. Every single boss was trying to flirt with me. The chairman even pulled my chair out for me and tried to ask me out. I was sweating buckets under that dress, afraid that somebody might find out it was me, but luckily, nobody even batted an eye. With a bit of finessing, I stole the security keys from one of the guards. I slipped into their office undetected, and within seconds, I was running for my life, several hard drives from the CCTV system in my bag. I watched every single second of those tapes. I didn't dare blink. And then, just as I was about to give up, I found it. I saw it, my saving grace. I gotta hand it to her. Dressing up was a good idea. But an undertaker? Seriously? How did nobody find it odd that some random undertaker was at the building that day? As good as her disguise was, though, her face was still very much obvious in the footage. And I just couldn't believe that she'd do that to me. She had always taken advantage of me. I always tried being the good guy for her. I gave her so many chances. And she stabbed me in the back like that. To think I ever had a crush on her now just makes me want to puke. I went to the office again the very next day, this time dressed as one of the janitors. Perfect cover for arriving earlier than anybody else. I knew for a fact Linda had a big presentation that day, and I knew exactly how to exact my revenge. I simply did a bit of computer trickery on the PowerPoint she was set to present. I watched them from the sidelines. I was pretending to mop a wet spot on the floor while the big bosses filed into the conference room. Linda was uncharacteristically bouncing with joy and excitement. I can imagine why. She probably thinks this presentation was going to cement her place in the company. And finally, she'll get that raise she'd been eyeing even though she didn't deserve it. Linda clicked on the PowerPoint. And then there was chaos. Instead of her presentation, a massive video of her breaking into my office and sending those emails to our rivals played on the projector. Linda panicked. She started screaming for help. From whom and for what, nobody could make out because she was also sobbing like crazy. She kept bashing the laptop's keyboard, trying to make it all stop, but all she did was make the video louder so that everyone, even the receptionist, could hear her in the video, loudly muttering to herself how she was planning to ruin my life. I couldn't help but laugh. Stop! Stop! Somebody stop it, please! No!
Linda!
What?
You're fired! Get out of here before I call the police!
No! I'm never gonna leave. I belong here. I deserve this.
Security! And someone shut that thing off! I need to make a call.
I was so absorbed in trying not to laugh too loudly and watching the chaos before me that I didn't realize my phone was ringing. And when the laptop was finally shut off and Linda's wailing had stopped, I realized the mustache that was hiding my face had fallen off and everybody was staring at me. The boss was calling me, and my phone was ringing. Hello?
Yes, hi Ethan. Why are you standing outside the conference room in a janitor's uniform?
It's a long story, sir. My boss laughed and he put the phone down. He told me to go inside the room and he offered me my job back. He apologized for not hearing me out before firing me, and that the determination I showed that day to uncover the truth was worthy of a leadership position. He made me CEO.
And as for your secretary, she's committed corporate espionage and even got you fired. Should you want to press charges, the company will provide you with the best lawyers in the country.
Thank you, sir. But I think Linda has proven to be such a great asset. I have a better idea. For a second, Linda's eyes lit up. She really thought I was going to save her. Since she's proven herself to be a very skillful vulture, why don't we send her to our scrapping plant? There she can pay off all the money she owes to the company. Have I told you that she took out an advance of 50 grand last year that she still hasn't paid a single dollar toward? She's been flirting with the boys in accounting so they wouldn't dock her pay.
Sounds like those nerds in accounting need a bit of talking to as well. Do what you want with her, as long as you keep her far away from here as possible.
Linda had two choices. Go to prison or get shipped to the furthest borders of the country and work for free at the corporate dumpster. She now lives in a camper van picking trash daily. I got my revenge and even got a reward. Now, I'm having the best time as CEO.